right, welcome to the Dragon's Tome, episode 144, Dragon Magazine 144. Hike, and I am joined again with the Jack and the Robs.
Jack's over here now. I'm so confused.
How did I get over here?
No,
Teleportate. Teleportate?
teleportation.
Teleported. Teleported.
Here we are again
gone.
with another Dragon's Tome, fellas.
That was
April of 1989. Rob's birthday is this month.
Oh, I was 14.
14, first year in high school.
Yeah, it was. This actually I met Jack this at this point.
Yay.
No, not yet. I would have met him in September 89. So.
Oh, okay. Boo.
But this year it's coming up,
Close.
Jack. Our anniversary. Oh.
Getting close to the day that we both
The day that music died.
lives in a conjunction of just
Tomfoolery and hijinks.
So let's take a look here at our cover.
Yeah.
This is Dragon Magazine's first annual swimsuit issue.
Yes.
Uh,
It's
by Daniel Horn.
yeah, we were just talking about Daniel Horn. But yeah, I like how in the description it was like, oh, we had a beautiful Valkyrie submitted to us. At least that's what the art editor said. It's kind of funny. I like her plaid though.
She's got a good plaid.
Parkin. Yeah, I
I
know.
don't know why she's a hobo though.
It's a bindle. Just because you have a bindle, you're not a hobo. Jack, you were saying?
I know. I appreciate a bit more of the whimsy and the. I did not expect the two of you not to have lashed out in anger already.
I like how the poor mule's face is like, oh god. I think it's very good.
Well,
It's really well drawn. It's not like your usual terrible drawings that are on the April Fool's one. This is actually really well drawn.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's flying at the time.
Oh yeah, he's got
Yeah,
wings.
just-
I just never noticed that he
you
has
can
wings.
I can't see the wings all that well
Yeah.
in this one, but
Well, and you can see all the birds that are flying around him. So, like, he's
Yeah, 'cause it's
he's
a,
doing a lot of work.
It's a Pegasus of some sort. That's right.
It's a pega horse or a pega mule or a
it's the peg
A
ass.
mule.
easy there.
Yeah, it is a flying ass.
All right. Well,
Very well done.
Daniel
Daniel
Horn.
Horn's great.
good job. Just if you are watching the episode, Daniel, just let us know why she's a hobo.
She's going to university. She got her bindle.
Well,
Yeah.
is it because she's a hobo because she's going to Valhalla? You can't afford the.
Well, she's a Valkyrie, so she can go back and forth to Valhalla. She doesn't have
That's
to
true.
stay.
All right. Well, then let's mosey on to the articles. What article do you have first, Mr. Harper?
That would be me. We're going to the editor. This is a fun little tale by Roger E. Moore that is about a paladin taking on a demon in an epic fight. He describes the whole fight. And yeah, it's a really funny story. But really the point is RPGs make amazing memories and that you'll retell over and over again, which we do all the time.
That's
And
true.
also, it's pretty much the point of the show is that it's nostalgia and looking back at these good times, playing these fun games. It's memories you'll make and remember and have fun and remember people that maybe not with us any longer. And it's yeah, good times. And I think that's the whole point of the story is it's such a ridiculous event that happened that it's fun things happen when you play games. That's all I'm saying. And I think it's a nice little story. And you never know. I think Roger E. Moore is a really good writer because you never know where he's going until the end. You're like, oh, that's the whole point of this weird tangent. Yeah.
All right. Jack, what do you got, Mr. Fike?
Well, we're going to keep it nice and simple, speed this along. We're going to stay on the same page, and
Oh.
we're going to go to the letters, which in a April Fool's episode, this is an April episode, I started to read, and I went, these aren't very fun jokes. So then I, like the first one here, I love your magazine, high hopes. I have a letter that deals with sexuality amongst different races, and I hope you can answer some questions in which the answer is no, next. And it goes on like that. Some of them are, and I thought these are pretty lame jokes. And then I looked at the top and it said the following letters are actually received by the editors of Drag Magazine, except for some minor editing. Now, do I trust? Is that a reliable
I think it wouldn't be funny if it wasn't true, right? Otherwise, it'd
narrator?
be stupid.
Yeah, so I'm guessing these are letters, and I think some of them I chuckled at both the letter and the response. So we won't go through all of them because there's a couple pages of them. But yeah, in a possible April Fool's issue, the biggest laugh I got was out of some people who had some ridiculous things to write in Dragon Magazine. A time when you had to write it out, put it in
Put it
an
in an
envelope,
envelope, put it in a stamp,
put the stamp on there, send it away, and then chuckled yourself for a couple months that you wrote a letter to Dragon Magazine that said,
and hope that it got in.
not even hope that you got in. The chances of getting in were nil because you wrote, "Hello, I would like to know what cow skulls are for."
Yeah. Or you wrote gibberish like this one guy.
Or the person who thought Gustave Doré was a contemporary artist.
Yeah, he was asking about the.
He's not
18th
currently releasing posters.
in the 17th century.
It has a real medieval feel because he was in the medieval times.
yeah, yeah. Which again, that's funny. Funnier than some of the jokes I've seen in past.
Ever?
No. Remember the one Dragon Magazine? What was it?
No, it was
dragon on the front.
Yeah, it was no.
That one was hilarious with the no adventure module in it.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one for April Fools.
No, it was the worst one ever.
Yep.
All right, let's move on.
Was that your first magazine, Jack?
I don't remember.
Page what?
14.
14.
This is one of mine.
Field Guide to Game Convention Ornithology.
This is one of mine also.
Yeah, this is a pretty fun article, and mainly because it mimics what we do at Gen Con at the booth.
It does, but it's also very similar to many other articles that have been in Dragon Magazine making fun of role players.
Oh, yeah.
But this one's specific to Gen Con, or conventions, and
conventions, yeah. Well, my of notable favorites are the Bullheaded Slasher.
Bull-headed slasher, yes.
Yeah. And then the Spoon-Filled Kibitzer.
You just like the names. You just like kibitzing.
No, I like the guys. They generally shown role playing parts, and they just like to sit in the board game area. But then, or this is even more so in the war game area too, where they'll just kind of sit on the outside and throw out advice.
Yep. Yeah, it's this is a lot of. I don't think it's that convention specific. It's a lot of just people at tables kind of thing. But
yeah,
I guess if you play a lot of events, this would happen.
I think quite possibly when this is airing, you might be at Gen Con.
Pretty close, yeah.
That's right. I'm looking to hopefully capture a bull-headed slasher. The guys that like to
just charge in.
They don't really know the rules. They just want to roll dice and kill things.
Well, in conventions that happens a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
One day I might learn that myself, but the invitation keeps getting lost in the mail.
It's true. Well, I can only have so many.
Well, this is your last chance because
white cis mails coming.
Only Pat's retiring after this. So.
It's true.
This is the end of the road.
Which actually means that Jack will come then, because
maybe we can actually play games.
He knows he won't be put to work.
Yeah. I like getting put to work.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Rob.
That was
back to you.
That was one of mine, but we're gonna go the cheating article. So we'll go to 22 first.
Oh, that's my article.
I can do the other one.
We're gonna follow Jack's rules here. This is limited me to 2 articles then.
I got a lot of other ones, but yeah, this is an article supposedly on how to spot cheaters, but really education how to cheat. Various ways to manipulate dice, computers, and measuring. And yeah, in the end, he's like, cheating does defeat the purpose of playing. Failing is fun. So
yeah,
but it's some of these things I've never even heard of. Like I was just pretty surprised at some of them. I'm like, oh, you can round the edges on a die and it'll actually roll a certain way. I couldn't believe that.
mind boggled that that was a thing.
Yeah. Because
I think that was stolen. I think that idea was taken from early casino days
yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
before they started weighing and getting.
Well, that's you ever see a
and
casino
hard
dice? Yeah, those casino dice are like sharp on the edges. They're so But the only reason to know it's real because the other article that's on page 26 that mentions that again. So I'm like, oh, that must be a real thing. I've never even heard of that. So I must be a non-cheater because I never even heard of that.
Well, I do know also that street crap player guys would doctor their dice that way.
Nowadays, all you do is just there's many other ways to make it roll certain
Yeah,
numbers.
you just by cheating dice. That's it.
I do like the. I think it was in the other article, but they said that you can, if you're going to cheat with a d20, make sure it rolls 18s, not 20s, because nobody notices when you roll an 18.
Yeah,
thought that was pretty funny.
And the article is written in a kind of like a this is how you cheat, like tongue in cheek, like, oh, what you want to do is, which makes it a bit funnier while still like admonishing people who would cheat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's an Ed Greenwood ecology article about the cheaters. Like not exactly, but you know what I'm saying. Like it was.
Well, once again, the next one is even more tongue in cheek because it's literally like this is how you cheat. This one's more like don't do this. This is what you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
The next one's like literally version. It's like
and
this
most
is how
of
you
these
cheat.
are all spot on too. Like this whole military measurement is 100% every 40K tournament ever.
Oh yeah, measuring from the front of the base to the back of the base. I've caught people doing that lots in tournaments.
Oh yeah.
It's like choose one or the other. Or doing demos. I get people trying to cheat on during demos. I'm like, it's a freaking demo, people.
Yeah, I'm just showing you how to play the game. You're not going to get a prize.
That's because in Armada you measure from the base, and tons of people. It's like, no, you measure from either the front or the back. You choose, but you can't switch halfway through. Yeah. Should we just roll into the next article? It's very similar. Is anybody else choose the next one?
No, they're basically the same.
I only did one because they were basically the same.
Yeah, the other one is more tongue-in-cheek, but it ends the article saying that DM should leave the article lying around, and anybody who reads the whole thing should get kicked out of the group. That should be a test. I thought that
I'm
was
going to go to the
funny.
bathroom. I'm going to take this article with me.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave this on the counter, and then you have a camera watching, and everybody was like, ooh, let me look. But yeah, both pretty tongue-in-cheek ways to cheat, but this one is literally has a step-by-step guide on cheating, so I guess... Yeah. Forewarned is what they say, prepared. So
forewarned is for something,
foreskin,
something like that.
Yeah.
Forearmed is forewarned. That's what it is. But
yeah,
and it does mention the dragon bone. So
does it? Which one did?
Yes, under computer fraud.
Oh, that computer one.
I guess
the other one.
Dragon bone. It lights up your number, but if you can vamp for just long enough,
you can jiggle it a bit. Yeah.
So if you go, oh, look at that! You wouldn't think that would be. I'd roll that, and I guess it just turns off, and then you can go, well, it was a 50.
I like also for the rolling percentile. They're always like, well, you just choose which one's your tens dice. It's like nowadays we have tens dice. Back then they didn't. So
yeah, it's
kind of funny. Well, nowadays we have good old Roll20, which I find Roll20 is a little shady sometimes. Some days it's like rolling all ones, and some days it's like you can't miss. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure about their number generator there.
Well, number generator is always, I don't know.
It's just theoretically, it's...
It's theoretically should be the same, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's the same.
It doesn't sometimes, because, some days you can't roll a save to save your life.
You can't roll a 99% to save your life.
I wonder how much of that is like gamblers, when you're playing it. I know it's got to be Roll20's got to be like a flawless, randomized thing. But you're right. You said it. I've never heard you say that before, but I've thought that a couple times where I was like,
I think we were playing Call of Cthulhu one day, and we like got a couple hundreds. It's like that's pretty freaking rare. How do we get like multiple hundreds in one game? But it's theoretically random, but what do they call it? Confirmation bias, where you only remember when it happens. Like we could have rolled 1,000 times and it only happened twice in a row, and we're like, oh, that's crazy. But it's
or when you're like, okay, I've botched it like 3 times now. Like I'm due. Statistically, I'm
Yeah,
due,
yeah.
but statistically, you're not
Not
due.
due. It should be exact same chance every time. Yeah.
Right, right.
Unless you have a bell
No,
curve. Unless you're rolling multiple dice, there's a bell curve.
Yeah,
But
right.
or you're playing for three weeks in a at stretch, and you have thousands of
yeah,
rolls that you can.
yeah. Confirmation bias is a real thing. Like you start charting things out, you're like, oh, that never happened. Okay, like you see it in like poker and things like that all the time. Where you're like, that's impossible. And you're like, oh, actually, no. Out of this many things, that's actually probable. So.
Exactly.
Even knowing it, I still fall into
Oh
it,
yeah.
and apparently you do too. So
There's dice gods, Jack. There's dice gods
Dice
still.
gods.
They still live in the internet. The internet didn't
Dice
kill the dice
Christ,
gods. Yeah.
yep, has
Don't
is a
bring
real
your
thing.
don't bring your religion to my dice gods.
Exactly.
Oh, you're a non-denominational
Dice god worshiper.
Yeah.
Mine's dice god is dice Thor.
Nice stuff. All
Every
right,
time you throw a
Jack,
dice, it's like thunder.
what do you got for a second article?
Ooh, dice
If
that
we
make
could
noise when you throw them. Has anybody invented that? Like they make like a thunder crack when you roll them. That'd be awesome. We have light up dice. I think I
got ones
just
that
invented
light up
something.
and they do all kinds of stuff. So I'm
Don't steal my idea.
um,
Copyright.
yeah, TM.
What page?
Oh, imagine the one would be a Thor's hammer, and every time you threw it, you just hear.
Yeah.
You should create a dice that you load with a starter cap,
Just actual snaps. Yeah. It's like, boom, it explodes.
like a starter.
Pat, why do you only have 8 fingers? Well, I was inventing something.
I put too much gunpowder in my dice. What?
You know the Tapcon, the 22 caliber things. Yeah. Well,
I made a
D12.
D22.
Okay, D12 shrapnel aside, if we could go to page 75, PDF 75, please.
Ooh, this is in the middle of the reviews again.
We are going to scroll down to the bottom of the page, and
This is
we're
in
going to
the
see
miniature review section. What's this thing called? Through the Looking Glass.
Forgotten Realms miniatures, and we can see a little Elminster, but we can also see this harkens back to a discussion we had in the past about the cover of Azure Bonds, the book.
This is the set that's the Forgotten Realms Hero set that has all. It even has a Dritz in there somewhere.
Yeah, Dritz is on the other page, I think. Which page is he on? I think was he up here? Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Dritz and Tristan.
And it's interesting that we just now have this this version of what's his name? Dragon Bait. Never read the books.
So we could recap. So we had covered the Curse of Azure Bonds article, right? It was the book.
It was an ad.
I'm sorry.
For the book.
I keep calling articles ads.
Not the video game, for the book, yeah.
The promo shot of the book in the corner was different than the actual cover of the book. And we couldn't figure out why. And there's no, it's like the internet was scrubbed of the second picture. So I reached out to a longtime listener, longtime friend, Clyde Caldwell.
Yeah.
And he actually wrote us back. And
he actually responded, people.
The lowdown of why that picture is different from the other thing. So back in the old days, he said the artists there were told to do color preliminaries of paintings before they actually did the actual painting. And the smaller ones were usually the prelims are smaller than the cover art. So his prelim was actually the cover, the same size as the cover of the book. But then when the book was out and ready to go, the author of the book wanted some changes. And so he wanted the lizard man's sword to look more like the sword in the book. He wanted the tattoo to be less red.
It was supposed to be blue, azure.
It was supposed to be blue, all blue. And he wanted her hair to be more red, that's how Jeff Grubb was the author, by the way. And that's how that change came about. And so I did ask him if he has the prelim still laying around, or did he just throw it away? He never answered me about that.
Well,
question,
it might have got in the pile of stuff from TSR that if you watch Eye the Beholder, I believe where everything got thrown out, all their art just got thrown in the dumpster and was saved. Some of it was saved, but a lot of it was just gone.
So the changes that Jeff Grubb had him made do were changes that he saw on the calendar version, which is what shows up in the calendar with the red in the arm, and then not as red hair. And he said just the evolution of the dragon or the dragon bait and the tower in the background was just evolution of him just maybe making changes for his
Yeah,
own personal
because he had to
taste.
redo the whole cover once they wanted to change it.
So
he probably got bored and was like, "I'm going to change this."
And the interesting thing is when you reached out to now friend of the show, Mr. Caldwell, he was didn't remember, like no one has brought it up, no one has noticed, and he was kind of like, oh, okay, and had to kind of
Well, yeah, I think he asked Pat to
about
send
it.
him a picture so he knew what he was talking about.
yeah, because he couldn't remember what picture I was talking about, so he asked me to send him a picture. So I sent him a picture of the ad, and then he goes, "Oh," then that's it. All came back to him. He goes, "Oh yeah." So those are the prelims that I had done
So
prior
that's pretty
to
cool.
the book coming out. So
We solved a mystery on the show, people. We actually did. Well, Pat did actual reporting and actual journalism and figured this all out. Yep, Jack's gonna drink to Pat.
yeah, well, it was killing me that we couldn't figure out. I mean, normally you could find a picture and you could find the alternate version it's somewhere, but this thing was scrubbed like it was professionally scrubbed from the internet.
It probably only ever appeared in that
Mission Impossible episode.
It probably only ever appeared in that one single picture that we found.
Yeah.
And he's like, who goes through Dragon Magazine one issue at a time to actually see that ad? Us. So he knows of our existence now, and he had a nice conversation with Pat. It's nice to know that he's still out there. You can go on his website and buy prints. And
yep, you can still buy prints.
He's still out there. It's great. It's good that he's still going. One of the greats.
One of the greats. Like probably a lot of people's favorite of
I think of him and Elmore are my two of the TSR era for sure.
Yeah, there was many a book I bought just because I saw the Clyde Caldwell symbol on it, and I was like, "Ooh, what is this?" It stopped me. I picked the book up, looked at it, and I would just get it just because they had a Clyde Caldwell cover on it.
Yeah, for sure. He's really, really great artist. So. Yeah, Pat, I think we're over to you. Was that Jack's?
Right. I think that was Jack. Yeah,
that's it. Yep.
So then my last article is going to go page 30.
30.
We're revisiting Cladonia.
I hate Cladonia.
Love Cladonia. Well, this article is not too much different, other than it just adds new powers and stuff and campaign settings. I don't know if I'd ever play Cladonia as a campaign because I feel like this is more of a late night convention one-off game where you just get together a bunch of people.
Well,
they have a couple of drinks at the table and you just play with Play-Doh.
Yeah, your Play-Doh would get hard if you try to keep these guys around. And then you try to smash it and you'd cut yourself open because there'd be hard shards in it.
Yeah, so some of the new ones too are really nice. There's Stomp where you get to step on the other Cladonia's model if you win. And I think there was...
it's teleporting now?
Yeah, there's teleporting. Yeah. And then I think use self as a missile is a brand new one.
And levels, too.
Yeah. So...
Cladonia dies of old age.
Yeah, if you're a big fan of Cladonia like I am, this is it right here.
Yeah, it's funny. I can't believe there's still, like, how long ago was that we were talking about that? It's still going.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, around this time is when maybe another 2 more years. I was going down to OrcCon in LA. And then one of the things we would do Saturday night, we would play Cladonia with this big group. There would be like maybe 20 of us around this big giant. It was on the floor, and there was this big of just plastic dropping wrap kind of thing that you use for painters. And then we would just all play a battle royale of Cladonia. It was fun as hell.
That's fun.
Get drinks from the bar, and we just sit there and we play.
That's the way it should be.
It was good times.
Good times. That's all it's about.
All right. Who's next? Rob, you started. You got any more?
Yep. I think I got 2 more. We're going back to the Looking Glass because they reviewed BattleTech miniatures. And
what page was that again?
Oh, page 74. 74 this time. It's the BattleTech Regimental Command Lance, and $18 for 4 minis. It seems kind of expensive. That's $45 today. That's a little bit more expensive than we're paying now. But The funny thing is that when they're describing these mechs, they're all the old metal ones, and they're talking about how detailed these minis are, and how it's like nowadays they're a joke how bad they are. Like it's like people make fun of these ones because they're like just lumps of lead or whatever it
They're
was.
pretty janky
The
looking.
the Atlas face looks like it's been smashed.
Yeah, he's like, oh, the Atlas face, it's beautiful. It looks like a skull face, and I'm like, no, compared to what we have
forget the
nowadays.
name of this one that's next to it because this one comes in the basic set.
Awesome, I think so. One
Plastic.
side and the other side.
Yeah.
What's the other side? An assassin or a? Can't remember what the other one is. Oh no, it's an Oscout, I think, which is odd because I don't even think Oscout's a really odd mech, and then a Cyclops in the end. But yeah, I thought it was funny that how detailed these miniatures are, and then also we didn't talk about, if we scroll down a bit, they show the on page 77 they show the Star Wars Heroes of the Rebellion. Is they the ones you got, Pat?
No, I got A New Hope, and I got.
But once again, the
No,
miniatures.
I did get Heroes of Rebellion. Yes.
Okay. I just find the detail is not great. Like R2D2 is the picture's terrible, but R2D2 also looks like a burnt husk.
He looks like Disney recasting.
He looks oxidized. Is what he looks like.
And
It's like they didn't because it looks like they didn't clean the miniature from any oxidation or anything because
yeah,
hand looks like he's got unless they're painted already and just
it's
gave
hard
it
to
like
tell.
a-
But none of them are great. But Han looks good. He looks pretty good. He's got a dynamic pose. The rest look pretty jank. But it is back in the day. So
Well, no, the pose is the C-3PO and R2D2 is the pose from the end.
yeah, you
The
can put
war
his hand
channel.
on his head on R2. Yeah, but yeah, I just thought it was kind of funny.
They're standing on like what looks like cookies.
Yeah, huge metal things. Even the
It's
other
just a
ones.
blob.
Yeah, it's before. Well, GW was the first, I think, to start putting them on separate plastic bases. Like these guys are all on those metal. Even I love. He also mentions about the BattleTech ones. Oh, they have their own hex bases, but they're not full hexes. They're like partial hexes. They're like terrible bases. You have to like cut them off and put them on real bases if you want to use them, or like build them up. Like they're not very good. But that's the state of the minis at the time. These are the top of the top. In 1989, this is what you get. So
This is what you get.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right, Jack. Do I dare ask, or should we just move on with Rob's last
Let me
article?
see here. Rob just talked about the Stompy. Rob just took mine. I wanted to talk about the Stompy
Yeah,
robots
I'm
there.
sure.
The one that I think the one on the left's called Slippy. The one on
Born
the
Slippy.
end there is his name's Wee, and because I'm a robot guy.
you are a robot guy.
Robot. All right. What do you got? Because I'm all out. Jack.
Okay.
So
Last one's just
take us away.
on page 86. It's a bunch of Soviet military equipment for use in Marvel superheroes, and I just want to say this is pretty fun and useful. Like if you want to add, I wish they had done these stats better. They're kind of in the you have to read it to get the stats instead of having a stat line. I'd much rather have a stat line.
I was fairly confused because it said Soviet firepower, but then had Iron Man on the front.
Yeah, it's just
So I
'cause
thought we
that's
were
who
gonna
Iron
see-
Man's fighting. That's why.
I thought we were going to see who's the Russian armor was the Crimson.
Crimson Dynamo.
Yeah, Crimson Dynamo. I
No,
thought we were
this-
going to see Crimson Dynamo, but then they started talking about the Hind and the.
Yeah, these are actually
Good
adding
boy.
actual things for him to blow up in the game. So, if you want to recreate like Afghanistan, with him coming out of the cave in Afghanistan, you could do that now with him get attacked by a Hind helicopter. So, and
62.
yeah, but that's the problem. It says the helicopter has excellent control, remarkable speed, and typical body, and provides good protection. It's like, well, all those keywords that's face rip, right? Like that's what but they the way they have them in here, I wish they had just actual stat lines with armor points and like all it instead of just having it as an article. But otherwise, pretty useful from a William Wilson Goodson Jr. He's got a long name.
All right. Let's move to ads.
I only have one ad in this one. I thought this one had lots of ads. It must be the next one.
All right, I have lots of ads.
You're not reading ahead, are you?
I read ahead. I've read all of them, Jack. I've read all 400 issues. We're just catching up.
Really?
I've made notes on every single one.
He doesn't know when we're going to stop.
I have to be prepared. I don't know when we're recording. We just randomly just show up at my house and start recording. And
It's true.
All right, Rob, why don't you kick it off then?
I get to my only ad. Page 80.
Page 80, is it the player's handbook?
Nope, it's TM Games.
Imagine.
This is a British BattleTech ad. So it's all the different stores that sell BattleTech, which is Virgin, Beatties, Hamleys, and
Games Workshop.
Yeah,
apparently.
Games Workshop. I was like, Games Workshop sold other games other than GW games? I never knew that. So I thought that was interesting that Games Workshop actually sold BattleTech games in their stores. But if you want games in England, you have to go through TM Games. They're the official distributor for FASA. Also, Avalon Hill, which they're still around, I guess, and Victory Games, New York, and Columbia Games. Columbia Games is that Canadian company. Victory Games. I don't remember Victory Games. I don't remember which one that one is.
I don't remember Victory Games either.
Yeah, but it's just all the books. Look at the Warrior trilogy right there. All the Sword and Dagger.
From good game shops everywhere.
It's true. Now over 300 games and extension modules to choose from. I guess that's all of FASA, but 300. I looked at the list actually because the next one there has some more FASA ads, and I was like, oh, how far along are we? And pretty free. They've put out like hundreds of books already for BattleTech. I was like, holy crap, these guys were prolific.
Oh yeah.
And I know this guy. He's got them all.
I have almost all of them. I have a lot of them.
That Sword and Dagger was my first book.
I don't have any of the books, but I have some of the books, but it's the actual modules I have, or actual source books. I'm missing some of the later ones because by the end there was pretty small print runs and they got really expensive. When the what is that? What's the Wisconsin game shop? What's it called again?
Noble Knight.
Noble Knight. When Noble Knight has their wish list pop up and it's like, oh, okay, something on my wish list. How much is this going to be? And it's like $400 for a BattleTech book. I'm like, have a little heart attack, wake up and be like, I'm not buying that book.
Yeah, we'll wait another year.
Yep. Wait till all the old BattleTech fans die off and sell their books. Their wives sell their books cheap.
Yeah, it's that or a second job.
Not even a second job. That'd be like
Or Sugar Mama.
a sugar mama. That solves everything. I'm gonna retire to
It does.
Costa Rica soon, so I can't afford that.
What?
It's in my plan, Jack.
Sugar Mama.
That sounds like the end of a Tweeter and the Monkey Man situation where you've just had to escape to South America, Bolivia. That's what.
Olivia. All right, Jack, what do you got for an ad?
Okay. If we could go to page 29, please.
Battle Titans.
Battle Titans.
Look at you
So,
choosing big stompy robots.
I'm a big Stompy Robot guy. I told you.
I know you are.
It's my favorite thing. We've seen these in the past. We saw a version earlier where we discussed how these are modular miniatures for this Battle Titans game. Again, I've never been a fan of the Citadel GW aesthetic for the most part. These guys are pretty dope, though. You can't argue. You know, if this was the sum of its look, you can't argue these are pretty nice looking. But down at the bottom here, it says that the picture that we see here. Now we don't have the magazine, so but we can kind of guess if on this full color page what the size of a page of 1117. I don't know what size the magazine is, but these are 75% of that size. So these are some pretty big models, and it says they clip together with interchangeable weapons. So they were pretty big, chunky boys with lots of options.
Yeah, they were about anywhere from 3 to 6 inches tall.
Okay.
The real one's probably about. Well, these aren't the full size ones though.
No, these are for the epic one. Because
Epic
they're
ones, yeah.
from Adeptus Titanicus, so they're for the.
These are
10 mil.
Warlord Titans, right? These are the big ones.
Yeah.
The one I was showing off is not. What is the one I was showing? It's the next size down, I think, but that's full scale.
The Knight. It's the Knight.
Knight. That's it is. So these are like
but they
in
do
real
make-
game
they
they'd
do
be
make-
like huge. Like these are
They
like
do
giant.
make these in full scale that you can play. You can see them at Adepticon.
Yeah, I think Forge World used to make them, and they were crazy expensive.
Yeah, they're about maybe 2 foot tall.
Yeah. Yeah, they're big.
And you get 6 of them in the box. And what was that?
I smacked my mic.
I heard a gonk.
I heard GW trying to censor you for saying you got 6 in a box.
Yeah.
You never get 6 of these things in a box anymore.
All right, I'm sure.
No,
Well,
the price would be.
or they'd sell them in a huge box set and it'd be beautiful, and it would sell out in a half a second because they only make limited supplies. So
Yeah,
We made 8 of these. Come and get them.
yeah,
you get 6 models, but we're only putting 5 in each box.
you have to pay extra for this.
You have to buy 6 boxes to get each one.
Yeah,
missing.
there's different. Yeah, it's a blind box. No, that's GW has never done blind boxes. That's a WizKids thing.
And then when you think, well, you know what? The next run, I'll pick up. Oh, they don't support the game at all.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, they never re-released it. It was a limited supply, and in 10 years they'll bring out a different version of it with different scale.
same game, but yeah, you can't use the old. Yeah. Anyways, we're getting mean spirited. I started with artistically appreciating the what would have been a fun thing to get your hands on as
I'm
a
sure at the
teenager.
time. I'm sure at the time this was crazy fun.
It was. All right, so then let's move to my ad, and we're going to hit to page 21.
Oh, no,
Renegade Legion Leviathan. So this is
That's
the
fun.
Renegade capital ship.
My pen. I'm out of ink, guys. Oh, there it goes. Never mind. No, continue.
Jeez, that was a crisis for Jack there for a second.
While they
What
don't.
page was that, Pat? Someone was making a ruckus. I didn't hear.
21.
21. Okay. Hey, carry on.
Jesus. I want to make mention of this ad, even though while there's not this version out anymore, there is going to be a Kickstarter soon from the new FASA re-releasing the Leviathan. It can't be Renegade Legion anymore. I think they call it Aetherstorm.
Yeah,
is the world that Interceptor and Leviathan now reside in.
It's like the same ships and same stuff, but just different IP kind of associated with it. They don't own the Renegade Legion IP.
So I think that basically the Renegade Legion.
I can't remember if
Aetherstorm.
Yeah, I can't remember if Renegade Legion went to Microsoft or if it went to WizKids. I can't remember which one. Or Tops owns it.
Whoever did the Interceptor video game is who got.
I would assume it's Microsoft then, because I know MechWarrior and stuff like that's all owned by Microsoft, even though BattleTech is owned by
own
Tops.
Crimson Skies because they got Crimson Skies too.
Crimson Skies. So I think it might be Microsoft that owns it now, which they're not doing anything with it, but they won't give it back.
No, of course not.
But still, it's still fun to. This is like the large scale ships in the same world. Yeah,
in the Aetherstorm world.
Because we played the fighter version. What was that called again?
Interceptor.
Interceptor. So this is the big capital ships version, and the little Interceptor ships are like small on this one.
They don't have a date when the Kickstarter is going to launch, but it's going to be soon. Like they had props of the models at last year's Gen Con, so I'm hoping to see what they have this year.
I'm sure at Gen Con they'll announce it. We'll have to stop by FASA booth and check that out for sure.
Okay. You guys have any more ads, or should I just roll through mine real quick?
I'm done. No more ads.
All right, we'll go through these very quickly. Page 51.
You don't have to go quick. We got lots of time, Pat. You're not slow like some people. Which one are we looking at here in 51?
We're looking at the old Quaddle.
I definitely had this Quaddle because
I had this mini, and as I saw this, I knew this was probably in another ad, but it was only this magazine that I noticed the figure, and then I remember distinctly how crazy unbalanced this miniature was. And it would always fall, and the wings would break right off.
Yep.
Every time.
One of my characters had a pet Quaddle, and I definitely had this miniature.
It was a nice little model, but it just would tip backwards. And
they were heavy, and the bases weren't as heavy as the miniature. So
no, or the center of balance was not over the middle of the base.
Yeah.
The Umber Hulk I remember from this line constantly. Like that was like for this line was the Umber Hulk was the one I always think of.
Yeah.
But for some reason, there's something in the back of my head. I'm like, okay, yeah, I think. Either I saw Rob's or there's something that's like triggering a little.
You probably saw mine.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Quaddle. I think his name was Pip.
Quaddle.
Mine was Pip. Pip the Quaddle. Well, yeah, he was just a flying serpent. He wasn't a real Quaddle because Quaddles are quite big. I think.
Yeah.
He was only little. He was like a little pet.
He's a Pip Quaddle.
Pip.
All right. Well, then let's roll lastly to page 95.
95. Player's Handbook. Oh, Space Dwarfs.
Space Dwarves from Games Workshop for 40K. Guess what? These guys don't exist anymore. Squats no more.
They don't have knees. Jack, do you know that they officially don't have knees? That's like part of their thing.
I would say the Voltan have something to say about that.
No, that's in Age of Sigmar, I think.
No, it's 40K.
Is it?
Yeah. But
Are they the new ones?
But they're the quote unquote new squats, but squats don't exist, so you can't call them new squats.
They never existed until they exist again.
Squats have been erased.
We know that 40K's history has definitely never been altered in the past and never will be altered in the future. So if anything changes, you better get mad about it.
So not only do you not get an incredible amount of squats in a box of a faction that doesn't exist anymore.
They're like the stupidest miniatures I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was not a big fan of the squat. I mean, I like the squats, but I was not a big fan of the miniatures.
I hate GW's dwarf aesthetic. I think they make them look silly, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Even professionally painted, these are fantastically painted. You can't argue that there's a certain quality. Art is subjective, and you couldn't pay me to own these things.
Yeah,
you could pay me. I would.
Yeah, well,
we all
have a price. Yeah,
I have standards. I'm
not gonna lie. I had this box set because
you probably had everything at the time.
I did enjoy squad.
Squats
had trikes.
Were you an Outrider yet?
No, I think in a year or two I was going to become an Outrider.
Spoilers. Pat joins the Evil Empire at one point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I was wargaming at this point and not role-playing.
Yeah. Well, this is definitely a war game.
And that was about the time your wife was born, too.
Oh, jeez. Ouch.
No, my wife's 4 years old at this point.
Jack, that was a harsh blow.
Yeah, if your reaction had to have made it a big deal, the audience would have never even.
You implied that he had a child bride.
I've done it before, and I'll do it again. I didn't expect a guffaw and you and all your friends go whoa. And
but Jack won't tell you how much he adores my wife.
Yeah, no. She's a sweetheart. She really is
for a child.
For a child bride. Hey, when you're Asian.
Oh, don't even start. We have to edit this out.
Yeah.
Is everybody
right. I think that's it. I think we did 144 April Fools. April Fools. My wife's not a child bride.
Nor Asian.
Jack, Pat's Asian. Jack, didn't you know that?
You're not Mexican?
Another funny joke.
Okay. Well, then let's proceed to the wrap-ups. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks to many of our fans. Tim from... I don't even know where you're from, Tim. But thank you for your lovely letter.
You're just making up things now.
No, we got a big
You're like,
fan letter from
Tim from somewhere. Thanks for a letter.
I don't want to give him send out his last name in case he doesn't want to be identified.
Thanks for the wonderful comments. We've getting a lot of comments. It's great.
Yes, Tim did a very nice letter saying how he enjoys the show and enjoys the banter.
Well, if you want to get in Pat's good side, write him a letter. Send it in the mail.
Scathing or praising, either or.
Well, not hating. What's the point? We don't. We're a positive community.
Okay.
Unless you're GW, screw those guys.
Positively scathing.
All right. Well then. Actually, I watched Tim Kask's podcast now. It was funny. He's got a YouTube channel. We thought he was dead, but he's not, and he's an angry old man. It's hilarious.
once again, we were proven wrong.
It's true. Jack's got to stop saying that.
Our track record for guys who are not alive anymore is piss poor.
Canonically, he's passed, but in reality, he's an old grognard who I think I aspire to be. So,
Jack, don't worry, you're getting there.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
You just got to get a Confederate hat now.
Oh God.
I guess it could be either. They wore the same hats, I think.
No, I think they were a little bit different.
But on that note, for the Dragon's Tome, I've been your host, Chopper.
And I'm Jack.
Well, that fell off the rails quick. I'm Rob. Bye.
And we will see you again next week. Bye-bye.